Hello, I'm Steve Weber, the host of Essential Book Drop. Tonight we're doing something else, a book review. A review of a book by Michelle Obama. It's already getting big buzz. With me, as always, is my co-host and my bookworm sidekick, Cassandra. Good evening, Cass.
Good evening. Happy to be here. This sounds like quite the book.
Yes, you got an advanced reader copy of this book, right? Why don't you kick this off?
I did, yeah. And let me tell you, and you, the listener, need to understand, this is way more than just, a coffee table book. Michelle Obama's newest work, The Look, it takes all that scrutiny she faced, all the public commentary, and really uses it as a foundation for a pretty deep analysis, actually. It looks at fashion, style, beauty choices, but through this really intentional lens, exploring things like self-expression, inclusion, and just, managing a huge public image.
Right, because the minute she was on that national stage, anything she wore was suddenly news. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but always talked about. And our sources say she really tackles that head on here.
Yeah.
So what's the book's core mission? Why focus on fashion right now?
Well, she puts it pretty plainly. She wrote it specifically to, and I quote, reclaim my story, what fashion and beauty mean to me in my own words.
Yeah.
So it was her way of sort of transforming that constant dissection, during the White House years, turning it into a celebration of expressing yourself. It's like a narrative reset, taking back control of her visual identity.
That idea, reclaiming, that's really powerful because you're right. Often for public figures, the image is sort of created for them by everyone else, not by them. So what's the main thesis she's offering the reader about what clothes can actually do, the power they hold?
The key insight, I think, is that style is a tool. It's not just about looking nice, it's functional. She argues that fashion and beauty, when they're wielded with grace and care, they can actually uplift and affirm the values one holds most dear. So she's not just talking aesthetics, she's talking about using that visual impact, leveraging it to really pull attention towards her message underneath it all.
Okay, so that connection.
Yeah.
Style having a purpose that goes beyond just looking good or feeling joy. That's critical. But it raises something interesting the book dives into. Confidence. She apparently says confidence cannot be put on. So if that's the case, how do the clothes even help?
See, that's where it gets really interesting. The analysis goes deeper there. The external stuff, the clothes, they aren't the source of confidence, right? But they can amplify it. She notes that when you put on clothes that feel intentional or clothes you just love, it can make you feel like the best version of yourself. So the outside effort kind of supports the internal feeling. It's about using the wardrobe to project a very specific, curated set of beliefs.
Okay, so the why is reclaiming the story. The how then must be very visual. Let's pivot a bit to the mechanics of it all. Who was actually involved in crafting this global image?
Yeah, and to help you really understand the scale of that operation, the book itself is designed as this really rich illustrated journey. It's got more than 200 photos, apparently some never-before-seen images too, and we basically follow her style evolution, which is, interestingly, kind of starkly divided into two main phases.
Oh, tell us about that shift. How did her wardrobe change, going from First Lady to this influential global figure role she has now?
The book really contrasts those eras visually. You've got the First Lady looks, often, very structured, approachable choices. Think about the colorful sheath dresses, the cardigans, the brooches. It was strategic. Maybe sometimes a bit constrained, but it was the uniform needed for that specific role.
Right.
But then post-White House, her style becomes much more, I'd say, activist and expressive. Our sources really point out the deliberate shift towards things like bold suits, denim, and braids. It's like this change in clothes mirrors her greater freedom now, engaging politically, culturally, without those constraints of the office.
That contrast really highlights it, doesn't it? The controlled uniform versus this activist expression. It makes this whole thing a fascinating look at strategic image management. Now, for the listener wanting the real, backstage pass, how much detail do we actually get about how these looks were created?
Oh, you get total access. That's a major takeaway. The book really details the huge collaborative effort involved. She brings in her trusted creative team, lets them tell their side of it. So we hear directly from her key people, her longtime stylist, that's Meredith Coop, her makeup artist, Carl Ray, and then the core group of hair specialists and also many of the designers who dressed her over the years.
Wow, so it really demystifies the whole process then. Takes the conversation beyond just, did you like the dress, into how it was intentionally built. It shows that every look was really a purposeful decision made by a whole team, all designed to back up her message.
Precisely, yeah. It turns her image into this carefully managed platform, which actually leads us perfectly into the bigger picture here, the context. Because this book, it isn't just appearing in a vacuum, it's being positioned as a major cultural event.
Okay, let's unpack that context. I saw that Columbia professor Farah Jasmine Griffin wrote the foreword, and she connects the fashion choices to democratic duty. I mean, that's a pretty big claim.
Yeah.
How does Obama link, say, a cardigan or a gown to civic action for the reader?
Well, Griffin describes the overall look, the whole package, as bold, powerful, forward-looking, visionary, and empowering. The connection comes back to the book's central idea about visibility and affirmation. By using her platform, her visibility, to maybe choose diverse or emerging designers or selecting clothes that push back against traditional expectations. She's making a statement, right? A statement about inclusion, about progress. So the style doesn't just affirm her values, it sort of implicitly charges the reader, the citizen, to do something for a better world. The style becomes the hook, maybe, for the more serious conversation.
That really does raise the stakes beyond just talking trends, doesn't it? It frames the book less as a memoir and more like a blueprint for how to use appearance to wield influence. And this high-stakes approach seems reflected in the whole media strategy around it, which sounds pretty extensive.
Oh, it's a massive media rollout, yeah.
Yeah.
Handled by Higher Ground. And they're really underlining the book's cultural weight by launching a special 6-part podcast series. It's called IMO The Look. And she co-hosts it with her brother, Craig Robinson.
A full 6-part series just dedicated to the themes in this one book. That's a huge commitment.
It is. And look at the guest list. It really solidifies that this is a conversation about influence and fashion intersecting. The series, it starts airing the day after the book release and features huge cultural figures. You've got Jane Fonda, the model activist Bethan Hardison, designers like Jenna Lyons, and big editors like Nina Garcia and Elaine Welteroth. It guarantees the conversation gets right into the heart of the fashion world and the media landscape.
And then there are the launch events, too, ensuring maximum visibility for anyone wanting to engage directly.
Absolutely. The strategy includes 2 major events to start. A discussion at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, joined by Trace Ellis Ross, and then an interview down at 6th and I in Washington on November 12th, conducted by Wesley Morris from the New York Times. It's just a full-spectrum release, designed to make the look a really undeniable cultural anchor point this season.
So for you, the listener, the logistics are pretty straightforward. Book drops November 4th, and you can basically get it in any format right away.
That's right. Crown's releasing the hardcover and the ebook simultaneously. And Penguin Random House Audio has the audiobook, which is actually read by Michelle Obama herself. So you can experience the narrative however works best for you.
Well, thanks for joining us today. And if you want to take a look at Michelle's book, visit us at essentialbookdrop.com, and you'll the link right there. Cass, we'll do it again tomorrow.
Sounds great. Farewell.
Oh, Cass, get some sleep. I'm sorry about bogging down your weekend with too much homework. It's just my tendency. I get obsessed with a book. I start blabbing about it with anyone who can bear listening. Come to think it about, I'm probably running the weekend of everybody listening to this right now, and I really regret that. Or maybe I'm overthinking it. Okay, if you're interested in Michelle Obama's book, look us up at essentialbookdrop.com, and you'll have the link right there. Until then, keep on opening new worlds with great new books. And whatever you do, remember this: when you read Riot,
Your mind becomes its own kingdom.